I will say that as most of you know, I am not necessarily the spook queen of anything. So I know nothing about this except for the few videos I watched this morning. And I have to say, it's pretty fucking crazy, if you ask me. I watched Sam and Colby, and then I watched something else that was like a informational thingy. Oh my god, it's fucking wild. Like the story itself from a crime perspective, and then the paranormal aspect of it. Oh my god.
Yep.
So I'm minimally prepped.
You can like sell the snot queen? Rude.
I mean, I have been for like 20 days now, so the amount of paper towels up. Bye. I'm the disappearing queen now. Bye.
What the fuck is happening?
I don't fucking know. I'm the ghost of the stream. I don't know if you knew that. I come and go as I please.
Oh my god. So my question to you guys is, do any of you know about the Villisca axe murders? Or the house?
You know.
Or as Sel likes to call it, Basilica. So I'm gonna take it that means no, none of you know about it.
Nope. Good. Welcome to the most. What is it? Was this like the worst? I forgot what Sam and Colby were saying. They were like, "This is the easily the worst murder story in the U.S." So,
yep.
Buckle
something
up,
like that. Yep. Yeah. Basically. So I'm literally just gonna like read you guys the story of it, and then Estelle, if you want to interject at any time, feel free. And then we'll just like talk about it afterwards. And that'll just be that. So the Villisca axe murders occurred between the evening and early morning of June 9th. Sorry, that was confusing. June 9th to 10th. 1912. This house is old as fuck. Apparently. I didn't realize it was like this far back in time. Holy fuck. In Villisca, Iowa, in the United States. The 6 members of the Moore family and 2 guests were bludgeoned in the Moore residence. All 8 victims, including 6 children, had severe head wounds from an axe. A lengthy investigation yielded several suspects, one of whom was tried twice. The first trial ended in a hung jury. I don't know what that means. And the second ended in an acquittal. What the fuck's a hung jury? Anybody? Oh, shit. Hold on.
A-X-E. I think, isn't a hung jury when you, Nope, I'm gonna shut my mouth. I don't know what that means. No decision. I was gonna say,
No decision?
I don't know if the definition was the same back then, because I know at one point, it came from nooses, but I don't know if that was actually what happened.
It says, also called a deadlock jury, is a judicial jury that cannot agree upon a verdict after extended deliberation and is unable to reach the required holy shit. That's not a word. Whatever.
Unanimous.
They can't decide. I cannot with words. Unanimity or supermajority. Yes. Blah, blah, blah. Yes. Look, see? Sounding out words is how you find out how to say big words, friends.
That's right.
Yes.
Good job.
People are always like, I'm like, this is how I know how to like say things, is because I'll look at a word and then I sound it out, and that's how I figure it out. Because you know, I did that when I was a small child and couldn't say words, you know, and now I'm not a small child and still can't say words. Exactly.
Phonics. We sound things out phonetically. Welcome to class. Sit down.
So basically, all these poor people were axe murdered in this house in Villisca, and nobody knows who did it. Apparently, according to the ghost, it was the Reverend, and I don't know where the Reverend fucking fits in here, so as we read the story, maybe I'll understand. but I can't remember who the reverend was, but like I watched Sam and Colby's video that Cell did, and then I watched one where Project Fear went there and they met Eggroll the cat. They named him Eggroll.
Oh, well, Sam and Colby's, they met Church, the cat, who's so cute.
Okay.
He's like all gray, came right up to them, so adorable.
Right? Yeah, they had one of them go in and like do an investigation completely by themselves, and the rest of them were sitting in the barn just chilling with Eggroll, and Eggroll's an orange cat, and he's just like all curled up in not Tanner, the other guy, Dakota's arms, and just like dead asleep, like so happy, and they're just like talking about like murder and shit. I'm like, that's an interesting scene there. You got two things going on here.
No complaints for me.
There you go. So I don't know if we're gonna have to remember names here, but
nah.
They've got Josiah and Sarah are the parents, and then some of the who names their poor baby Herman? I'm sorry. Herman. Oh, Jesus.
This was 1912. Everyone
I
needs
know,
to keep this in mind.
Herman.
1912. Here, just let's paint the picture, okay? It's 1912. They have a farm. There are chickens, okay? There's no internet. There's no nothing. This is the time when neighbors would actually walk over to each other's houses and hang out on the porches. So when all this went down, the neighbor didn't see anybody moving that morning. It was like very quiet. The chickens were still in the coop. They hadn't been let out. So the neighbor went over and was like, this is kind of weird. I mean, they have like how many children? 5? 6? 6 children? Yeah?
They
2 parents?
have 5.
8 people died?
They have 1. They have 4 kids, and then their 2 friends were staying the night.
There you go.
6
Okay.
kids.
So they're like, there's supposed to be noise. There's all these kids. We hear nothing. We see nothing. Neighbor went over, and that's how all of this was discovered. So, continue. That's the picture.
There you go. So we got Josiah and Sarah are the parents. Herman, Mary, Arthur, and Paul are the Moore children. So the Moores are the family who lived in the house. And then they had Ina and Lena Stillinger, who were friends that were staying the night. They went to church that day and then came home, and the Stillingers stayed the night. So, this is the discovery of the crime, so I'm going to assume that it's going to tell us... Holy shit, there was a lot of people they thought it could have been. Holy hell. Sorry, I'm scrolling. I'm assuming this is kind of gonna tell us the story of the actual murder and like what happened there, and then we can go from there. So, I'm literally just gonna read it out because, yeah, if I fuck up names, I'm sorry. They should be easy enough for me to say, but just in case. So at 7 a.m. the next day, June 10th, Mary Peckham, the Moore's neighbor, became concerned after she noticed that the family had not come out to do their morning chores. Peckham knocked on the Moore's door. When nobody answered, she tried to open the door and discovered that it was locked. Peckham let the Moore's chickens out and called Ross Moore, Josiah's brother. Like Peckham, Moore received no response when he knocked on the door and shouted. Ross unlocked the front door with his copy of the house key. While the neighbor stood on the porch, Ross went into the parlor and opened the guest bedroom door, where he found Ina and Lena Stillinger's bodies on the bed. Moore immediately told Peckham to call Henry Horton, Villisca's primary peace officer, literally, who arrived shortly thereafter. Horton's search of the house revealed that the entire Moore family and 2 Stillinger girls had been bludgeoned to death. The murder weapon and axe belonged to Josiah, and it was found in the guest room where the Stillinger girls were found.
Yikes. He heard
did
it.
Horton?
Yes.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he heard the who, but not the why.
Who done it? Yeah, true.
So doctors concluded that the murders had taken place between midnight and 5 a.m. Uh, Two spent cigarettes in the attic suggested the killers or killer waited patiently. According to the official tour, there were no cigarettes found in the attic until the Moore family and Cylinder guests were asleep. The killer or killers began in the master bedroom where Josiah and Sarah Moore were sleeping. Josiah received 2 more blows from the axe than any other victim. His face had been cut to such an extent that his eyes were missing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Jesus. The ceiling in his room also
Mm-hmm.
had a gouge mark from where the murderers lifted the axe to murder him. By the by, friends, that is still in the house. Like they didn't like paint over that or nothing. Like it's still there. If you watch any paranormal investigator that goes to that house, like they point it out every time.
Yep.
It's still there, which is crazy. But I mean, to be fair, the way that the roof comes down where they were, he hit the ceiling because to use an axe in the way in which the axe was used. Yeah, you kind of wouldn't have
there's
to.
a lot of stains and things left in the house. Like there's the like indent from where he like did the axe, like he raised up with his hand so it's above his head and he hit the wall behind him. And then there's still like dark stains from like I guess a place where he would have stood over a bed and he was just dripping blood and they couldn't get it out, I guess. And then
Yep.
in a different room, I think where the kids were, right across, there's more scuffs on the ceiling from where I guess investigators are now assuming that he wielded it with one hand and was like circling it over his head in like a victory screech sort of thing. And that's quite the image of like all that blood splatter just like Michelangelo being splattered across the room. That's something. So yeah,
Yeah.
just typical. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Very spooky. Very
Very spooky.
pretty crazy. Killer or killers used the blade of the axe on Sarah while using the blunt end on the rest of the victims. That's interesting. Herman, Mary Catherine, Arthur, and Paul were next bludgeoned in the head in the same manner as their parents. Afterward, the murderer returned to the master bedroom to inflict more blows on the elder Moores, knocking over a shoe that had been filled with blood. Lovely. Before moving downstairs to the next bedroom, killing Ina and Lena. Seemingly afterwards, a 4-pound slab of bacon was taken out of the icebox and laid next to the axe. Investigators also found untouched food and bloody water during the search. After the search, people were let in to see if they could have committed... Wait, what? See if they could have committed the crime, completely contaminating the weapon. Wow, that's great. Good investigation skills there, 1912 people.
But like, can we go back to the bacon for a second? So
Right?
imagine this. So a random person, this has never been solved. Random person goes into a house, kills parents, kills the 4 kids and the 2 friends. Everyone's dead. Then they just decide to take out a 4-pound slab of bacon. I don't think it was eaten. It was just there. Like he just took it out. It was wrapped up. And maybe he was thinking about it for later, and then I don't know. But like, okay, random,
like,
but sure.
That makes 0 sense to me. It's like, so you just murdered all these people, blood everywhere, and you're just like, I'm gonna make breakfast, but then I'm not gonna eat it. Like,
yeah. So
what?
I heard from one of the videos I was listening to, because you said earlier that what did he killed the parents with the sharp end and then went around and killed everyone else with the like blunt end, like the other side of the axe. So someone said that it's likely because a lot of the times when you have an axe that's cutting into similar substances, you get stuff that's stuck on the end, and some people are just lazy, and that's why they're theorizing he probably was just like, fuck it, and just use the other side. So I wouldn't doubt this is somebody that has that sort of attitude in that moment. So maybe he did just take the bacon out and was like, I'm gonna save this for later, and then just walked into the other room and forgot about it. You're probably right. I wouldn't doubt that at all. But listen,
Yeah.
4 pounds? It's quite a slap of bacon.
That's a lot of bacon. Like, holy shit.
I know.
Yeah.
Bacon.
Yeah, so I didn't know the part about the eyeballs either. Uh
Mhm.
had no idea. Um
Mhm.
I mean I probably did. What's actually funny is the reason I even know about this at all before we like continue into what actually happened is I used to be part of a group that we called the Team Regulars, and we're basically just a bunch of fans of this YouTube channel called Black Box TV, and we all
Mhm.
kind of got to know the guy that made all of those. His name was
Mm.
Tony, and he used to do live
Tony.
streams in like haunted places,
Mhm.
and so like I watched his one where he was on the Queen Mary, and that was like epic and amazing and whatever. And
Yeah.
anyways, so he made a movie about the Villisca Axe murder houses or murder house, the Villisca Axe murders.
Yep.
And
Basilica. Yeah.
I and I remember sitting there and being excited because he's like, "Oh, it's on Netflix," but he's obviously from the States, and we all know that Netflix in the States does not mean it's on Netflix not in the States. And so I was like really upset, and so I put the thing how you can use a thing in Netflix where you can like say, "Hey, remind me when this is available" or whatever.
Mhm.
It became available, and I remember sending him the screenshot of my email saying that I could watch it now and how excited I was. I can't remember the movie very much, but it was about this, and that's how I knew. And they had merch of one of the shirts I own, like the t-shirts I own, is all newspaper of like about this.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's like a print or whatever, so it's not like actual newspaper, but like it's like whatever, a print of the actual newspapers talking about it and stuff all over the shirt. It's really cool. Investigators believed that all of the victims except for Lena were asleep when murdered. They thought she was awake and trying to fight back as she was found lying crosswise across the bed. What the fuck does that? What does crosswise across the
So
bed
like
mean?
I think what they meant to say was like if you imagine a cross, so the bed goes one way and the body goes the other way. So
Okay,
it makes like a cross, but I don't know why they
okay,
said it like that.
yeah, me either. uh, all right. It's side to side. Yeah, okay, okay. Thank you. I was like, what? Because like to me, I would think
Yes.
crosswise as like diagonal, so like the head's at one
Uh-huh.
corner of the bed, and then the feet are like hanging off. But I guess either way, the feet would be hanging off, wouldn't they? I mean, unless the head was
They
hanging
would,
off. Who
yes.
knows?
True,
But
true.
all right, they worded that weird, but okie dokie. With a defensive wound on her arm. Lena's nightgown was pushed up to her waist, wearing no undergarments, leading law enforcement to speculate that the killer, apparently we think there's more than one, molested her or attempted to do so, but this was later proven false, which makes sense because if you're in a nightgown and you are fighting against somebody, it's probably not gonna stay where it should, to be fair.
Probably not.
It's a nightgown, you know. Yeah,
Yes,
okay,
like that,
that's
exactly.
it's kind of what I thought, but I feel like that was worded weird. But what do I know? Okay, so yeah, they thought it could be the Reverend, who I'm assuming was just like the Reverend of their church. Not really sure who the fuck Reverend George Kelly is. There's that.
Traveling preacher. Fun fact.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I was gonna say there's a thing on like each of them below, which I just realized as I'm reading their names. But they thought it could be Reverend George Kelly, Frank F. Jones, William Mansfield, Loving Mitchell. Is that actually your name, sir? Okay. Um, Paul Mueller or Henley. I hate everything. Henry Lee Moore is what I was trying to fucking say. Jesus Christ.
Hmm. Hmm.
Who is not related in any way.
Hmm.
And the Reverend was tried twice for murder, but got away with it both times, basically. Um, and the other the other suspects were also exonerated, which
Mm-hmm.
means they also got away with it had they had anything to do with it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, they were never convicted, so yeah.
Yeah. Um. Wow. Holy fucking wow. Okay, they got a lot on William
Holy
and
wow.
Paul and the Reverend. Jesus shit. Okay. Well, we're gonna know who the Reverend is in a minute because I'm gonna read it to you. Um.
Mm-hmm.
So. That's not weird at all. So they think it was Andrew Sawyer because he he was a suspect because he was obsessed with the murders, slept fully clothed, and was ready to make a clean getaway, and also slept with an axe by his bed. But that's all they got, which is
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I feel like
Uh-huh.
I don't know any of these names except for Henry and the Reverend, but it's because the last video. Thank you. There we go. I'm like, hello, brain.
Mm-hmm.
The last video I watched on it was all about the Reverend, and um, Project Fear had been there before, and then when this was we watched the second one, I guess, of when they went back, and the first time, three different things or three different times during the night they got the word Reverend on their like PS
Mm-hmm.
box or whatever the fuck it's called. And then when they went the second time, it happened again where they got Reverend Pastor and Reverend again. So they're
Yeah.
thinking that like obviously it was him if that keeps popping up. But
Yeah.
I mean, who knows at this point? I guess we'll never know. But
We'll never know. I mean, and you don't even have to know any of the names. The ones that I understand are the most important. Reverend is the biggest one.
yeah.
And then I believe the only person that they proved had a grudge against Josiah, who I believe is the father,
Hmm.
was Frank Jones, who was just like a local businessman, but he may have had a personal grudge. But other than that, they couldn't find anyone who had any sort of motive or anything of the sort. So they were saying, like, maybe it was Frank Jones who had the grudge, didn't want to do it himself, and then said, "Hey, Reverend, could you do it?" Like, that's how it worked, because otherwise, Reverend had no reason to do it. But who knows? Yeah, we're never going to know the real answer. But yeah, that's how it ties into the paranormal, because there were, when you go in with all the equipment, there's multiple people that have gone in, and Reverend keeps popping up. So if I'm going with the ghosts, I'm going to say Reverend. Final answer.
Final answer.
Exactly. But yeah,
Um.
we'll never know.
Yeah. So I guess it says off of for the Reverend that Reverend George Kelly was an English-born traveling minister in town, so you were correct, on the night of the murders. He was described as peculiar, why can't I words today? Reportedly suffering a mental breakdown as an adolescent. As an adult, he was accused of peeping and several times asking young women or girls to pose nude for him. That's
Mm-hmm.
weird as a preacher, but
Yeah,
okie
he
dokie.
he wanted to hire a assistant, I believe, and I think they found the posting that he had for it, and he said like the one requirement is that she had to be in the nude at all times.
Oh.
Oh, bye. Sorry, I had to pop out for that one. The Reverend's here. He hired me. Hold on. Jesus.
Oh my god. That's suspicious.
Fucking weirdo.
All right.
Exactly. Yeah. So apparently he
Um,
got multiple complaints about that. And I think it was the first public thing that he had that like raised a lot of red flags for people. So that's how they started looking into him. But yeah, really interesting.
yeah. It's I didn't realize he was a traveling because
Mm-hmm.
they talk about him so much, like I thought that he was like the specific reverend for I don't know,
For the
their
and they even went to church. Yeah, you would have thought,
yeah.
but no.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that, but
Which is why this is a bigger unsolved mystery, because it's not even like
mhm.
he really knew them, because he was a
Yeah.
traveling preacher. Like, he wasn't part of their church, so they didn't really know him, and he didn't
Yeah.
really know them.
Yeah. Like he apparently, according to this, he came to town on June 8th, which is the days before they were murdered,
Mm-hmm.
to teach the Children's Day services, which the Moore family attended on June 9th. And then he left
Mm-hmm.
town between 5 a.m. and 5:50 on June 10th, hours before the bodies were discovered. And he had confessed to the murders in court, but the jury did not believe his confession. Why? Why? Okay, pause. Why? I don't understand why in the fuck, especially in a time like that where there was probably obviously there was no social media, there was no like whatever. Why would you confess to doing something if you didn't fucking do it? Even now, why would you confess to something if you didn't fucking do it? Why would you say
I
you did
mean,
it if you didn't?
fair point, but I'm thinking, so I'm this ties in, I promise. I'm
Okay.
rewatching I'm rewatching Breaking Bad. And
Mhm.
for those of you that haven't seen it, there's one scene where basically the main character is going to get caught doing crimes. And the way he gets out of it is he hires somebody to get put in prison for him. It's literally that guy's job. It's all he does. He gets paid like $1 bajillion and he spends his life in prison because that's how he prefers to live. So that did happen to many people. It's something that they had a problem with back in the day in the law, because I'm a nerd and I needed to know why that was a thing. But it was, I don't know if this is the case, obviously, because they can't prove it and we don't know, but that could have been the reason. Like, maybe, hypothetically, if Frank Jones, the businessman who had a possible grudge against this dad, if he had a grudge and didn't want to spend his life in prison, he could have hired the Reverend, paid him enough to say, hey, go kill these people and also go to jail for me. Thanks. Like, that could have been the arrangement. I highly doubt, or I don't know, but I wouldn't have been the person to say, like, yep, it was me. Duh. Handcuff me. Send me away today. Thanks. Like,
Yeah, that's crazy. What?
hmm?
And like Joel, what you said to protect someone, maybe, but like
Hmm.
I I I don't know. Like it seems yeah, I don't know. That just seems weird to me. Like
It
I
is.
obviously I've well, I hope this is obvious to you guys. I've never murdered anybody, I promise.
What?
I've never done
What?
anything never done
What?
anything
The
like that,
most
I
tame
promise.
vampire ever. Never murdered anybody?
No.
How? Wow. How many times have I given you all my blood, too? Unbelievable.
I mean, you're still
Unbelievable.
here, aren't you?
I'm a ghost.
But like, I don't know. I don't think I would be like, hey, I didn't actually do this, but like, I don't want you to catch who actually did it. So
Mm,
I'm gonna just go rot in jail for the rest of my life. Cool. Okay, awesome. Like, what?
right. I mean, it would line up with why the jury didn't believe him, because if he's like, let's say he'd never done this before, right? He takes this money. The guy says, go spend time in jail for me. He says, sure, I like money. Why not? I can send it to my family, whatever, whatever. But then he actually sitting in court and he's like, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in jail. I have to say what I was hired to say, but I don't have to make it convincing. They didn't hire me for that. So, I don't
That's
know.
fair.
It's interesting though.
In the weeks that followed, he displayed a fascination with the case and wrote many letters to the police, investigators, and the family of the deceased. This aroused suspicion, and a private hello, what are words? And a private investigator wrote back to Reverend Kelly, asking for details that the minister might know about the murder. Kelly replied with great detail, claiming to have heard sounds and possibly witnessed the murders. His known mental illness made authorities question whether he knew the details because of having committed the murders or was imagining his account. Jesus Christ.
Mhm. Mhm.
Holy hell. And then in 1914, 2 years after the murder, Kelly was arrested for sending obscene material through the mail. He was sexually harassing a woman who applied for a job as a secretary, which you had said. Um,
Mhm.
He was sent to St. Elizabeth's Hospital, a national mental hospital in Washington, D.C., and they speculated again that he could have been the murderer. So that makes sense in mental the mental aspect
Category.
of things. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck's the word I'm looking for here?
The mental something.
The mental, my mental no work. Jesus.
My mental no work.
My mental no work. Mental
Yes.
capacity to mental. Yes. Yep. Mhm.
I don't mental.
I don't mental either. I can't even read words off a fucking screen in front of me. Anyways, so in that aspect of things, it would make sense because even if he didn't know them, that it's like maybe he saw them at that Children's Day service and was just like, "Yep, like I'ma go murder them," because you know,
target
that's
acquired.
That's how people work sometimes. Like I've heard some crazy fucking shit in the true crime world. Like holy hot damn. So like who knows? He was arrested in 1917 and they got a confession from him. But they after hours of interrogation he recanted, which means he took it back. Yeah? Is that what recanted means? It's
Yes.
too early in the morning for my brain. And legal words, I can't do it. And then after 2 separate trials, he was acquitted. So they let him get away with it if he did do it, basically. But it sounds like they didn't have enough evidence that it was him. They had enough to arrest him at the time, anyways, but not enough to help. What's the word I'm looking for?
Convict.
What happened? Thank you. I'm like, what happens after you're arrested? Oh my God. Thank you. Not enough to convict him.
All these words are really top of mind.
Christ. Well, that's why I'm asking. We know the things. You're prepared. You know what the words mean. I don't.
I know words. I do words. Sometimes.
Best screen reader ever. Yeah,
Yes.
That's me. You know, sometimes I am, and sometimes just no. Then you get charged, then you get... Okay, fair. Yes.
Yes. What's interesting about this time as well, you have to remember, it's 1912. They don't have a lot of forensic evidence or anything to really prove things. So what I was listening to was that it wasn't common at the time. Like, think about items that they had. It wasn't common to wear, like, gloves when you're thinking about not leaving fingerprints. But evidently, whoever did this, they couldn't find fingerprints. And they were like, did they wear gloves? Like nowadays that would be kind of normal for a crime, but it wasn't back then. So that was another reason why they couldn't, you know, prove who did what or where or why. Same with the girl that they said they don't think any sort of sexual abuse happened. They didn't have the forensics that we have now to really for sure prove that. But the one thing that they did say, which makes sense, is that because she had a cut on her arm, I think it was, a defensive cut, that she's probably the only one that saw the killer coming, and saw the face. So she's, from what I've seen in Sam and Colby and things, they usually try and ask her who it was, and I believe at one point they did get Reverend out of her. So I still say Reverend. Final answer.
Yeah, I also think it was the Reverend because what did they say? It was it Ina or Lena? Hold on, let me look.
I know they have to have similar. Is this Game of Thrones? Why do they have to have similar names? Like, why can't we just have like Sarah and Christina, like totally different?
Okay, Lena was still awake.
Lena, okay, Lena, yeah.
That does make sense because every time I've watched something, they try to talk to Lena over Ina. They will ask for both. But I've noticed that they always try to talk to Lena, and I never understood why, and now I get it. That makes more sense. Yes. It sounds like a standard murder. I mean, the plan was to talk about the murder part and then like the ghosty paranormal part. Because, you know, I mean, murder's pretty fucking spooky. But
well, what makes this crazier is that I mean, as Hoki said, like it's a popular one and a lot of people in the spook community are very familiar with it. But what's really interesting is that they don't advertise it. Like Villisca Axe Murder House. I get it right one of these days. Um, the house itself, whatever the fuck its name is, you can go into the house for like $10. They'll let you in and you can, poke around. But they don't advertise it. It's not on a website. It's not on anything. It's all word of mouth. So this has gotten so big and so popular to the point where no internet ad is telling people. It's just people saying, have you heard of this creepy ass place? Go check it out. And now everyone knows about it in that community. So it's pretty crazy if you ask me.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I think it's funny that they have, I'm assuming they're stray cats or cats of like neighbors or something, because the first time Project Fear went, they met another cat that might have been Church. Because they said it was a gray cat. Yeah, there you go. That one. Exactly. Yep. And I thought it was funny because they said that they were hearing noises and they couldn't figure out what it was, and then they got jump scared by the cat.
Yeah.
So they got scared, and then the same thing happened with Egg Roll, and they decided they were gonna name him Egg Roll, and they're like, "Yep, we're gonna take him home. Like, he's so cute." And they named him Egg Roll. He was adorable, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Egg Roll. We can't take you with us." He was very cute. Egg Roll. I don't know why you're gonna name a cat Egg Roll, but
it's
whatever.
Cute. It's adorable. I mean, I wouldn't name my cat that, but it's adorable.
It was cute. Yes, it was. Also, I'm not really. Holy shit! So who the fuck is William? So Frank Jones was a Villisca resident and an Iowa state senator, and Josiah had worked for him at his implement store. What implements? Implements of which implements? Okay, whatever.
The implements.
Okay, but like what? Yeah, that one. We watched that one. I think it might have been that one. Either we watched
the Sam and Colby one is really good.
Yeah, if that's the one with Egg Roll in it, then we watch that one. Well, I mean, like, I'm only asking Seven because, like, technically my nail tools are also called implements. So that's why I'm wondering.
True.
I'm like, implements of what kind? But probably in this day and age, probably
Back
farming.
in that day,
You're probably.
Yeah, that would make sense. Bye. He took me away. The rest was like, you better shut your mouth.
Oh my god.
I'm back.
Oh my god. Oh, you posted a GIF of Dean screaming? Yes. Yeah. Yep. Oh my god. Okay. Implement story. Gotcha. Before leaving to open his own store, Moore reportedly took business away from Jones, including a very successful John Deere dealership. Moore was rumored to have a sexual affair with Jones's daughter-in-law, though no evidence supports this. Okay, well, that would make sense as to why he might, want to murder the whole family. Like, that's... Yep, okay. When I read that at first, I was like, okay, and then I clearly didn't read it properly. Oh, hi.
What?
You got big.
What the fuck?
Did you press something?
What? Baby?
You pressing Stream Deck buttons?
Maybe. It's fine, continue.
Oh my god. Okay, so I don't know who the fuck William Mansfield is, but Jesus motherfucking Christ, he's got a whole book on him. Goddamn. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I mean, that's the thing about
Scream.
I mean,
You internalize it.
I mean, yeah. Or you do what Sam and Colby do and go, oh!
Yeah, well,
when something interesting happens.
I think I told you this. I was playing Don't Scream yesterday night. And I think we established I don't scream. Like, it's all internalized. So I guess I could do that, but I don't think I'd volunteer. I'd be hiding behind you the entire time. And I would just be gripping your back like, please don't. I don't want anything to touch me. Please. I don't consent.
Yeah. I feel like that's the only thing I don't like about, like, watching certain people go to haunted places to do investigations is like I can understand that when you actually get like a response of some sort, especially if it makes sense, like in this case, like the preacher or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
like, and I love Sam and Colby, so like don't get me wrong here. But like
Yeah.
when they like make such a big deal out of it like that, it's like you realize
Yeah.
that those ghosts are probably standing there going like, oh, for fuck's sake, like Jesus
Yes,
Christ,
yes,
like
yes.
you
If
wanted
I
an
was a ghost,
answer, we
I'd be
gave
like,
you an
calm
answer.
down.
Yeah, like holy shit. Or especially if they're like a kid and they like, because I mean, again, I don't know, but supposedly there's like the different kinds of ghosts, like the residual, or like whatever that like go through a loop, so they don't even know what the fuck's going on. Some of them are
Yeah.
very, like some of them know exactly what's going on. So like for the ones that don't know what the fuck's going on, they're probably like touching these things, giving answers. People are going, oh, and then they're like, okay, bye, like see you the fuck later, like what the hell, or you know, like
Uh-huh.
whatever. It's just like fuck. If I was a ghost, I'd be like, bruh, like, can you? I would try to. Honestly, I would try my best to be like, calm down, like through the spirit box. I'd be like,
Yeah.
calm the fuck down,
Yeah. Calm, please. We calm here. Very
please
calm.
calm, just whoosah,
Calm. Husa!
whoosah.
Husa!
If you ever hear whoosah through a spirit box after I've passed, you know it's me.
It's me!
Okay, so Senator Jones, aka Frank, hired
Link.
William Insane Blackie Mansfield, an ex-convict and former USA Army soldier stationed at Fort Leavenworth, to murder the Moore family. Why? Okay.
Passable.
9 months before the
Yeah.
murders, a simple case of axe murder occurred in Colorado Springs. Two axe murder cases followed in Ellsworth, Kansas, and uh, Paola, Kansas. I'm so sorry if I'm saying these wrong. I'm in
Sure.
Canada, okay? I
Sure.
don't know how to say these
I
things.
don't think anyone is gonna hold you accountable for that.
Alrighty. I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm trying, okay? The cases were similar enough to raise the possibility of been having committed by the same person. Other murders reported as possibly being linked with these crimes include the numerous unsolved axe murders along the Southern Pacific Railroad, from 1911 to 1912, the unsolved Axemen of New Orleans killings, as well as several other such murders during this time. So they think he was like a serial killer or a hitman or
Something like
something.
that, yeah.
Seems like
Hmm.
two types of spirits, intelligent and residual. See, I knew there was residual. I can't remember the other one, Hokie. I knew you would know though.
The smarty
Residual is like
pants
a record.
ones.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. What a name. What? William Insane Blackie Mansfield? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's the name. I know. I mean, sounds like he's
Uh,
pretty
she
crazy.
was talking about a town in Kansas that I've never heard of because I
Ellsworth
don't.
and Paola.
Paola.
Paola? I don't fucking know.
Paola, Kansas. My
Paola,
favorite place.
Kansas. Paola.
Yep.
Paola. Paola. So basically, it does sound like there were similar murders, and there was one that was 4 days before the Villisca murders, in Aurora, Illinois. And
Hmm.
then they were they're all considered they were all considered Jesus. They're all committed in the same manner, indicating that the same man probably committed them. In each murder, the victims were hacked to death with an axe, and the mirrors in the homes were covered. So that's the thing I
Yep.
know with spirits. Apparently, spirit wise anyway, has to do with, oh fuck no, fuck that Slender Man bitch. Nuh-uh.
Nope.
Um, uh, that if you cover the mirrors, the spirits can't get you or something. So I
Uh-huh.
think
Yep.
that was kind of the thing. Is this happened in Villisca too, where all the mirrors were covered, and I think
Hmm.
it's supposedly so that the spirits can't get revenge on you for murdering them or something,
Right.
which is also interesting. Uh,
Hmm.
all right then. But
Alrighty then.
alrighty then. I mean, it's fair that they would also think is this guy if like he was convicted for all the other ones. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, he was clearly a creepy dude. He did some
clearly.
shit.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
There were a lot of odd things about this case. I mean, I think it would probably be a little less odd if it was committed today when we
Yeah.
have so much more things to tell us who did what, but
Yeah.
that just it being so long ago and paired with the fact that it still hasn't been solved like 100+ years later and it's
Right.
so haunted
Yeah, like
is a big thing.
it's one of those things, especially when you have like people asking the ghosts of the family and the girls, like who did it, and you keep getting like the reverend or preacher or pastor or like any type of synonym. Holy shit, I could say
Yeah.
that word. Are you guys proud of me? Holy hell.
Synonym.
I
Whoa.
almost said cinnamon.
It's okay. It's Basilica. It's fine.
See, we both
Damn.
can't English. It's a okay. It's totally fine.
It's just each brain cell. That's it. That's all we
Yep.
got.
One brain cell each. Yep. Oh god. Um and apparently Henry Lee Moore was also a suspected serial killer who was not related to the slain Moore family. His name just happened to be Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Was convicted of the murder of his mother and grandmother several months after the murders in Villisca with an axe.
Mm-hmm.
However, how easy, like, I don't know how easy it would have been back then, so, like, maybe this is also a thing. Maybe axes were just easier to come by than guns, and therefore would be more silent depending on how you went about it, I guess. But,
Yeah, well, also think about the fact that most of this is like farming time, right? So like most
yeah.
people had axes on hand. It was just like a regular thing that you had in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, log cutting, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Um, very similar axe murders of his mother and grandmother were committed, all cases showing striking similarities, leading to strong suspicion that all of the crimes were committed by an axe murdering serial killer. And just
Oh,
like Blackie Mansfield, the axe murdering Henry Moore can also be considered a suspect in some of these slayings. So basically, it sounds like either William or Henry could have murdered them because there was a serial killer going around murdering people with axes.
mm-hmm.
And then we have Jesus Christ.
Samuel.
Samuel.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's because his
Samuel.
name is Samuel R. Moyer. So I'm looking at it going
Samuel.
Samuel R.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. Samueler. We're gonna call him Samueler now.
Cereal
Was
long, damn
oh
it.
my god, damn it! I can't say that word because otherwise all three of my phones in here will be like hello. But yeah, damn.
Hello, your call, your
Hello.
ring.
Yes. He was Josiah's brother-in-law. Apparently, often threatened to kill him. However, upon further investigation, his alibi cleared him of the crime. Damn. Why would you? What? Why would you often threaten to kill your fucking brother-in-law? Like, hello? All right
Hell
then.
if I know.
Weird. And then the last person is Paul. Uh, oh wait, sorry. Did Paul write this book or Bill James and his
Paul,
daughter?
hello? Is Paul in the
Paul.
room?
Paul, do we have a Paul?
Paul, hello?
Okay, so again, it looks like most of these, other than the Reverend and the Samuel Samuel. Fuck, I did it again. They're
Fine.
basically assuming that most of this was like a a serial killer of sorts.
Uh-huh.
There's a book that was written in 2017 called "The Man from the Train" that Bill James and his daughter Rachel McCarthy James discussed the Villisca murders as part of a much larger series of murders, which they believe were all committed by a single serial killer. They conclude that the murderer was Paul Mueller or Miller. That's not how you spell Miller, but okay. An immigrant possibly from Germany who was the subject of an unsuccessful year-long hello. What the fuck are my words today?
Bueller.
Manhunt. Jesus Christ.
Uh-huh.
And the sole suspect in the 1897 murder of a family in Massachusetts who employed him as a farmhand. Interesting. Interesting. So basically, this one is a book that was written, and they think that this guy did it because lots of other. A serial killer. It's a serial killer. That's what I'm going for. Hello, brain. Can you work, please?
Yep, brain. Yep,
Paul McCartney? No. Definitely not Paul Walker. He wasn't alive yet. It's just toodaloo doo doo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we still don't know who it is, and I guess we never will, but I mean, if you are inclined to believe the ghosts, they say it was the Reverend by the sounds of it. I mean, most of them probably don't know, like, because it sounds like they were all sleeping when they got murdered. I don't know how the hell you would axe murder somebody right next to somebody and they not wake up. Because I'm assuming the parents slept in the same bed, unless that was not a thing in 1912. I don't know. But like when you go through the house, it's got one bed in it still that looks like it would have been from that time. So
yeah,
that's something I don't get is how would Mary, what was her name? Nope, Sarah. Sorry, Jesus Christ. How would Sarah? Mary was their kid. How would Sarah have not woken up? Because, like, I'm assuming the four children either had their own, I honestly can't remember, either had their own rooms or, like, shared a room, because it looks like they had 3 boys and a girl. So maybe the boys shared a room and the girl had her own. I'm not sure. I can't remember. It looks like a small house to have that many.
It's a very small house.
Yeah.
I would assume that if this is a serial killer and somebody who's used an axe, which regardless of if you've used the axe to kill people or to chop wood, you are handy with an axe, like more than the average person today, because most people don't need to use an axe for the most part, because we're not farmers. But I would assume that if 2 people are sleeping in bed next to each other, they're not that far apart. So if you're smart about it, you're probably just going to go like 1 swing to one person, 1 swing to the next person to just make sure they're gone, and that's it. And then you know, I guess go ham, because that's what this guy did.
Literally.
So I would assume that's probably in the span of like 3 to 5 seconds. So like they could have woken up, but you're not doing anything. It's not enough time for you to like move, you know?
No, it's
like,
not enough
especially
time
since
for you to react.
you're waking up. It could be a dream to you. You don't know. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. Like I feel like there would be some movement that would like wake you up, but then again, I know that like obviously depending on you as a person depends on what kind of sleeper you are.
Right. Exactly.
So.
Exactly. But there are weird things about this whole case. Like the mirrors is one thing. Like covering all the mirrors is one thing. From what I remember, they said that the killer specifically covered all the faces of the victims that were unrecognizable at that point with items of clothing. They don't know why. Another psychological thing. Like it just took like a t-shirt and covered it, or it took like a pair of pants, covered the face. Don't know why. Odd. Definitely odd.
Yep. That's
something about I don't know if this is a fact at this point, but I did read about it, that the actual axe was left behind in the house, and the murder weapon was, I think it was Josiah's actual axe. I don't think the killer brought their own. And I believe that it was left at the crime scene. Blade was wiped clean, but the handle still had blood stains on it, and that's a specific word, blood stain, not fingerprints. It was just stains of blood. So that was another reason why they were like, did this guy wear gloves? Because that was weird at the time. So another weird fact. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's
to
really
be a fly on the wall.
it's yeah, like it's crazy that no matter what happened, like even if it was the Reverend or like whatever, like some of this is just so crazy. Like what why? Like I mean I say that about every true crime case that that I look into or that I hear about, like just why? Like I don't understand how people can do that to other people. Um
Hmm.
but I just like it doesn't make any sense to me. Like just but but why? Like the serial killer part makes some sense, I guess, because they don't care. Um, but like for a reverend, that seems well pretty out of character. And like I know that they were saying like with the reverend that he's mentally not there or had a mental
Hmm.
breakdown when he was younger or whatever. And obviously, I'm assuming back in the day they didn't have as good of treatments for that kind of thing as they do now. And even now, like some people say, it's not great either. But I know that like medicine and stuff has come a long way now.
Hmm.
So like who knows? I don't know. But just none of it really makes any sense. Like the serial killer part makes sense, but it's like why them? Like what did they do in the case of like Henry Lee Moore? Like what did they do to him for him to just be like, "Oh, yep, that family, those guys. Yep, like
I
gonna do
don't
it."
know. I
Like just
don't know. Well, even yeah, more evidence to being the Reverend. I believe they said he also attended the funeral of the family members. And
oh,
he was acting quite odd, more odd than his just odd personality to begin with. I don't remember exactly what he was doing, but I think it was essentially like he was lurking, like he was literally like slinking around corners and things, but he was there. It was very odd. Like it's if he was the actual killer, I'd imagine that's something like, like closure or something. Like you get to see all the people grieve the people that you killed. Um
yeah,
so yeah, odd.
very odd. I just think
But
it's
what?
crazy. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, you first.
I was gonna skip to the paranormal. So if you had something else on the same topic, go ahead.
Yeah, well, okay, sure. I was gonna say that when we were talking about fingerprints, so I believe that this was one of the, because there were many at this point, this is one
Mm-hmm.
of the more pivotal crimes that encouraged law enforcement to look into getting better forensics and look into fingerprinting, crime scene preservation, all of that sort of stuff. So
Wow.
yeah, very important for law enforcement, this crime. And now the House Basilica, oh, you made proud of me, is regarded as, I think it's now a national landmark, a historic landmark, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And they restored it, and I mean all the marks are still there in the house, obviously. They're not gonna get rid of
Yeah.
those, but like furniture and all of that, now it's advertised as a tourist attraction, but this is 100 years later. So
Mm-hmm.
when it actually happened, there was like widespread hysteria. Everybody started sleeping with weapons because they didn't know what was going to happen in the middle of the night anymore. So that's how the word spread about how creepy this was. But that's just wild. I can't imagine living in that time and just hearing through word of mouth of what happened. It's not like they had internet. I'd be like, wow. Yeah, I'm gonna go get my axe, and it's gonna be right under my pillow. Thanks.
Right? Just like
Thanks.
crazy.
Thank
Crazy.
you.
I know.
Crazy.
I'm actually on murderhouse.com at the moment. That has
Oh
to do all
yes.
with the Villisca Axe Murder House, and it says like you can stay overnight there. I
Yep.
haven't like clicked on anything to see what how much it would be or anything. But you can check in anytime after 5 p.m. and check out is 10 a.m. And they're like,
Hmm.
be respectful. It's a living historical exhibit and is provided as an immersive experimental. Wait, not experimental. The fuck is that word?
Experience.
Exper.
Experiential.
Yes, that. Thank you.
No
Opportunity.
problem.
I'm like, the fuck is that word? I've never seen that in my life.
We are not
To
staying
stay.
overnight. Uh-uh.
I heard. Really? Are you sure? Are you gonna take me to
I'm good.
Villisca?
I'm
I
alright.
will not go to the basement. No, it's not
Summertime.
happening. Fuck that shit. Um, sorry. To stay overnight in one of America's most haunted houses. This is America's most haunted house. One of them. It's not. It is not an accommodation. Do not sleep in the beds. Use sleeping bags instead. Do not touch the blinds or mirror coverings. That they. It's powered. Sorry. It's generally without power to create an authentic experience. Because in 1912, I guess there wasn't power? Question mark. That would make
I don't
sense, I
believe
guess.
it was a widespread thing, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And then it's like be sure to power up any gear you plan to bring. There are multiple outlets in the barn. So again, the barn is for like basically you to be able to stow your stuff and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're not allowed to eat anything but eat or drink anything but water. And then they said no toys or mementos or ghost hunting devices should be left behind, although I'm pretty sure that people leave toys for the kids all the time. But
Yeah.
that's interesting. They say to keep the house safe, so no open flames, cigarettes, vaping, or anything allowed inside. No coolers, because sometimes they leak. Like, don't stick anything on the walls, like, whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
many visitors report the existence of a dark presence in the house. So this is something
Mm-hmm.
I was going to touch on. There have been reports of scratches on visitors. Do not bring weapons of any kind into the house for your own and other safety. There has been one documented self-inflicted stabbing. Jesus Christ. Use the buddy
Really?
system, stay together, and if you find yourself overwhelmed by feelings of sadness, rage, or dread, go outside and take a break. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of shit is scary to me, just in the sense of who the fuck would that dark presence be, or was that dark presence the reason the murders happened in the first place? Because
Maybe.
what they say is that the murderer, whoever they were, stayed in the attic until everyone was asleep. So, like, that they broke into the house or entered the house, because I don't know if you would have locked your doors in 1912, like, who the fuck knows? Probably not. Like, well, I mean, to be fair, when I read the thing, it said that the door was locked, so maybe they did. I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
I believe they locked the doors, and the only
yeah,
reason why the neighbor came over was because they had a spare key. So yeah.
yeah. Somebody had a spare key to be able to get in the house to then find them all murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think what's crazy is that part of me wonders if whatever this dark presence is the reason that the murders happened in the first place.
Yeah,
Like
it could be.
if for whatever reason, maybe like because supposedly that person broke into the house, stayed in the attic until everyone was asleep, and then committed the murder. So like it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like fuck. You guys might need to help me out here. Is it Amityville
Yeah.
with the catch him and kill him?
Oh fuck if I know.
Here you go.
Yes.
I have a detective hat.
Thank you. Yes. I am on the case. I'm a terrible detective. No one hire me, but this does add 1 point to my detective skills.
One
A single
point.
point.
Just
My total
one.
points for detective skills is now 1.
Yes, if we hold hands, our brain cells combine to one really big brain cell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not 2. Just
Not
1.
two, just
Still
one.
1. True. I'm not a puzzle person. I don't do puzzles, okay? Puzzles do me. That's about it.
Also, I just looked it up and you are 100% correct. Not that I didn't believe you, but you are 100% correct. Oh, it's almost the same. Villisca
Oh,
is
is it different?
508 East 2nd Street, Villisca, Iowa. Sally House is 508 North 2nd Street. So they're
Damn.
literally
Well,
that close.
just a bit off.
Just a tiny bit. East and north.
Just a bit.
Just a bit.
Way bit.
Pop, pop, peanut
What
butter,
is
butter pops. Pop, pop, pop 'em in your mouth. Pop. What you gonna
So what did
nom
we
on?
learn?
Um,
What did we
don't
learn,
piss people
class?
off with axes.
Yes.
Yes.
Good job.
Good job.
I mean,
I have.
unhinged is to be expected, is it? Is it not? We should make that part of the title next time.
Yes, unhinged.
Murder and unhingedness.
Muy doy.
My day.
Muy doy. Exactly.
No brain cells? What do you mean? Goop cells? I don't know what those are. I don't own those. What do you mean?
I don't have
No
any of
proof.
those.
No proof.
No proof.
Blood.
Nah. Da.
Well, thanks for hosting, sister. This was fun. Part of the
Yes.
subathon goals reached, achieved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Well,
You're welcome.
Thanks for episode. It was very fun.
Yeah. Thanks for being my my co-host today.
Yeah. You welcome. You welcome. Anytime, anytime. But thanks all for hanging. And yeah, the final brain cell. Hi. Hi, it's me, the final brain cell. I will leave you with the better brain cell. So enjoy. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.